Welcome back to Feel Good Alcohol Free, the podcast for high achieving women who are ready to feel a peace in their life that alcohol could never allow to exist. The kind of peace that lets you be present in a conversation with your best friend, or gives you permission to climb into bed early for an uninterrupted, restful night's sleep. I'm Lindsay Henneke, coach and creator of Feel Good AF, my signature 13-week group coaching program that helps you build a life that feels so good, alcohol simply doesn't belong in it anymore. If you've been enjoying Sober September or just playing with the idea of taking a break, I want you to know something. That word, enjoy, is an important part of this journey. It's so important, and most of us fail to recognize it or even consider. I wish I had enjoyed mine more. I wish I had been able to actually see for myself what I was doing, how hard I was working, how many versions of me I was letting go of, and how much I was growing. But honestly, my early days were messy, and I wouldn't let myself see the effort that I was making to change my life. Like, that is something that is so important in this journey. And instead, I was drowning myself in self criticism and shame. I was gritting my teeth through challenging moments, punishing myself for every slip up, and stuck on this question of why was I incapable of doing it right? I was so ashamed that I had failed at managing this part of my life, and I felt like the pain and discomfort was somehow exactly what I deserved. So, beating yourself up for not being able to manage a substance that is, by its very nature, unmanageable isn't the only way to quit drinking. In fact, I would strongly advise against it. And that's why Feel Good AF exists, because quitting drinking can be reframed as something really powerful, expansive, and beautiful if you let it. Okay. So now maybe you're listening and thinking, okay, that sounds great, but I can't hire a coach. Or coaching doesn't really fit into my life. I should be able to do this on my own. Or I just need to try harder and be more consistent. Then I'll finally make a change. And I get that because I said those same things to myself for years. I was convinced I could figure it out on my own, that I just needed to be more disciplined, more willpower, be in more control. I wasn't lacking discipline. I was isolated. I was trying to think my way into emotional safety and behavioral change in a body that was completely dysregulated and exhausted from the inside out. And even though I was confident in every other area of my life, alcohol made me small. It suppressed the passion that I once had for my life. It made me question my worth every single day, just constant self doubt. I couldn't figure out how I became someone that I didn't even recognize anymore. Today, I am a confident woman, and I have been since I was a little girl. But for a large part of my life, I relied on alcohol to bring out the confidence. And sure, it made me more outgoing. But confident? Looking back, I can say that that was not true confidence. Over time, the tool I was using to feel confident at parties or on the dance floor, or even in big presentations at work, it turned against me and brought out such deep feelings of self doubt, something I started fighting on a daily basis. I hadn't quite gotten to the point of hating myself, but for so long, I couldn't believe how disappointed I was in who I had become. And it really saddens me to remember how I used to feel. How did I let that version of myself sit unattended for so long? Have you been feeling this way? Like you haven't really been caring for yourself like you know you want to? It really makes sense that so many of us end up in this place because alcohol takes more than it will ever give. It depletes us of our drive, our calm, our joy, our energy. But the moment that you look at it for what it is the moment that you can start to decide for yourself what you will do next. Okay, there are two promises that I can make you in this journey. The first one is this will feel really hard at times. You absolutely will get a case of the effits. And yes, I know this may not be what you were expecting or hoping to hear, but before you let the familiar wave of resistance enter your mind and convince you to shut this off, keep listening. This is not too hard for you to handle. It's not. Which leads me to my second promise. If you keep showing up for yourself and you keep moving forward, and by the way, not beating yourself up when you take a step back, every once in a while you will, it's okay, then your success will be inevitable. You will get what you want if you don't stop. And that's why I'm recording this episode today, to give you what I didn't have, insight into how it can be real for you. A real conversation about what actually changes things, not the performative, tough love stuff, but the real shift, the real change. And it starts with something so incredibly simple. It starts with you making one bold AF move. You don't need to plan out forever. You don't need to declare that you're done drinking forever. You just need to commit to yourself and your goals in the moments that matter. Let's talk about what that bold move actually looks like and why forever isn't the goal, but freedom is. Being proud of yourself is the goal. So you're managing your life like the professional, successful woman that you are. Things are taken care of. You are crushing it at so many things. But your relationship with alcohol has become the one thing that feels unmanageable. You're killing it at work. You're showing up for your family. The house looks great, even if the adult admin list is kind of like getting checked off. Like it's all happening. And yet, every single night ends with the same outcome. You tell yourself tonight will be different. And by 6 p.m., that quiet voice inside you starts to get drowned out. You know alcohol isn't serving you. You've seen the patterns. You've had the 3 a.m. wake ups, the pep talks, the I'm done declarations, but still you feel stuck, frozen by the concept of forever, worn down by the shame of not following through again. If that's where you are right now, I need you to hear this. You are not failing at this. You're just in what I call maybe a integrity gridlock. The moment where who you are and who you want to be are in conflict. And the pressure of that misalignment is showing up in your habits, your health, and your self-trust. I promise you. I guess I have 3 promises. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just need to make one bold AF move that aligns with the woman you already know is inside you. Okay, let's shift a little bit. Why forever is a trap? Let's talk about one of the biggest mental blocks in this journey, forever, and why it's keeping you stuck. Because forever sounds brave, it sounds committed, but for most of the women that I work with, it is a straight up shutdown. Because when you're high achieving, introspective, and constantly scanning for what could go wrong, forever triggers fear, pressure, panic. It makes your nervous system go, this isn't safe. Abort, abort, abort mission. I've seen it and I've experienced it. Women who are functioning at the highest levels, who can lead teams, manage households, and hit every metric of success. But the second they try to quit drinking forever, they freeze. They backpedal. They spiral into this deep, quiet shame that no one around them even knows exists. Let me tell you about a client of mine. We'll just call her Kay. She's incredibly smart, deeply self-aware. She has a job that she's amazing at, clients who love her, and a life most people would admire from the outside. But she came to me in a thinking spiral, struggling with motivation, overanalyzing everything, exhausted mentally and emotionally because the second she tried to be good or stay consistent, she ended up over planning, over perfecting, and then she would avoid, especially when it came to alcohol. She wasn't drinking because she didn't care. She was drinking because her brain was on fire, because trying to quit drinking perfectly with no slips, that actually felt safer than not trying at all. But that sets us up for disaster. Perfectionism delivers feelings of failure and it negates all of the progress and growth that we've achieved. So, we've talked about this idea of bold moves, not big ones, not forever declarations, just small, powerful shifts that create a ripple. And for her, that looked like switching therapists, signing up for coaching, starting to journal, not in some elaborate 17 tab spreadsheet kind of way, but short, sweet check ins that built emotional momentum. That was her move. That was her shift. That's it. And the best part was she started to feel seen. Like this wasn't some character flaw or moral failure. It was just about finding a system that worked with her brain, not against it. That's what I mean when I say forever is not the goal. Freedom is really the goal. So if you're stuck in this similar spiral, if forever feels like a weight that's crushing your momentum before it even starts, just pause. Ask yourself, what would feel bold but doable right now? Maybe it's 3 days alcohol free. Maybe it's finally replying to my email about coaching. Maybe it's choosing rest over a drink just for tonight. Whatever it is, let that be enough because bold moves compound. They build self-trust, and they are how you break the cycle of forever fear and build something way better because that's what you're doing. We are just all building a life that's better. That's all any of us want. So I've talked about this next piece before. It's not about willpower. This is about integrity, inner integrity. So let's make something really clear here. You are not wired to be sober. You're wired to drink. And no, that's not a moral failing. That's not a lack of discipline. It's literally the programming we've all been soaking in since we were kids. So think about this. Your parents drank. Your grandparents drank. You watched people celebrate with alcohol. You've watched people grieve with alcohol, unwind with alcohol. The message was loud and clear. Life equals drinks. Stress equals drinks. Connection equals drinks. It was never questioned. It was normalized. You were trained to believe that alcohol belongs in every room that you walk into. Birthdays, holidays, promotions, breakups. It's BYOB. It's rosé o'clock. It's champagne for brunch and beers for the game. And the worst part is that it's everywhere. It's in your feed, your social life, your TV shows, your kitchen, your memories. So no, this isn't about not having enough willpower to resist it. This is about decades of reinforcement and identity shaping and learning to rewire your thinking about alcohol. So here's where integrity comes in. Just because everything around you is saying, have a drink, doesn't mean that you have to keep agreeing. And I get it. I've lived this moment. When I first quit drinking, I was about 2 months sober, and my dad came to visit for the weekend. I'd already told him I wasn't drinking. I sent him a message ahead of time. He knew, or at least I thought he did. So we're getting in the car to go to dinner, and I say it again. I'm not drinking. I haven't had anything to drink in over 2 months. And I was like kind of excited to share this. And my dad, who I love dearly, turns to me and he says, well, you're going to have a glass of wine with dinner though, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. I lost it. Well, on the inside, I lost it. I was so angry. I remember just saying, no, Dad, because I said I'm not drinking. And it's like, not because I needed his approval, not because I wanted to explain myself. It was because I was finally sticking with my commitment to myself. There were a million times before that I had said I wouldn't drink and had broken that small but mighty promise. And I wanted so badly to not let myself down again. That moment showed me just how deep this stuff runs. It's not just in our habits. It's in our families, our traditions, the way we celebrate, the way we cope, the way we connect. And of course, I love my dad and we're very close. This is him as a product of his surroundings and his upbringing too. So if you're listening to this podcast, you've already had that little whisper inside you say, something about this isn't working anymore. Alcohol feels like a part of me I didn't choose. I want to want something different. That's integrity knocking. And you might be thinking, but my partner drinks, but it's always been this way in my family, but they won't understand. Let me say this. They don't have to. This journey is about your integrity, not somebody else's approval. And it doesn't come from following rules or pushing harder. It comes from asking, what actually matters to me now? And what choices reflect that woman, not the one I've been conditioned to be? Listen, I know this isn't just about cutting back. We're not out here trying to lose 10 pounds for summer. This is about shedding an identity that touches every single part of your life, your relationships, your routines, your self concept, your coping mechanisms, which means this isn't a 6-week plan. This is emotional mastery work. It's learning how to hold yourself in discomfort. It's learning how to respond instead of react. It's building the tools to trust yourself every single day. And yeah, sometimes it's exhausting, especially when you're trying to do it alone, especially when the world around you is still glamorizing the very thing that you're trying to walk away from. But think about something you've accomplished and how good you felt when you got there, completing the marathon, scoring the dream client, sending your kid off to college. I'm going to guess that there was a bit of exhaustion along the way. And would you say, was it worth it? That's why we do this together, because this isn't about willpower. This is about becoming the woman you know is already inside you. And it is my job to show you how to bring her out of you, how to become the woman who doesn't need alcohol to feel so good AF, the one who leads with integrity no matter who she's watching. Okay, let's bring this home. We're going to talk about what the bold AF move actually looks like. We've unpacked the cultural wiring. We've called out the integrity gridlock. Now it's time for you to do the thing that starts to move it all. Make one bold AF move. You know I love an assignment. But let me be clear. I'm not asking you to quit drinking forever. I'm asking you to choose you just once on purpose. Your bold AF move doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be public. It just has to align with what matters to you. So here's your assignment. Pick one thing this week that aligns with the woman you're becoming and do it. Also, by the way, I know that a lot of men listen to this podcast because you email me and I love hearing from you too. So I'll give a little shout out to the men doing this work because you are becoming someone who is fierce and powerful. I know that you listen and I appreciate you so much. So also know that I'm thinking of you as well. You're becoming someone new and you can do it. So pick one thing this week that aligns with the version of you you're becoming and do it. Let it be small, specific, and real. Let it be a promise kept. Now, that move might be you walk by the wine aisle at Target and you don't put a bottle in the cart. You set a reminder on your phone that says, you're already enough, and you read it out loud at 5 o'clock. You order sparkling water at dinner, even if everyone else is ordering drinks. You journal one win before bed, just one thing you're proud of from that day. You pause at 3 p.m. when the wine fantasy hits and you drink a glass of water instead. That's it. That counts. All of those little things count. This is how you rewire. This is how you show your nervous system we're safe here. We are just doing something new. Your brain will collect this as evidence that you don't want or need to drink because it's not the not drinking that feels hard. It's the space it creates that you're just not used to sitting in. Those moments of stillness, those are where your real work begins. That's where you meet yourself without checking out, rushing, or reaching for the familiar. It's not about perfection here. It's not about tracking streaks or counting days. It's about building identity shifting proof one move at a time. And if you want support, real, high touch, powerful support, this is what I do. This is what I've lived, and it's what I teach. You've tried to fix this alone, and you're still here craving peace, clarity, and real momentum. That's where I come in because my work is not about rules, shame, or how many days you've gone without drinking. It's about building the tools, the nervous system strength, the emotional regulation, and the identity shift that lets you walk into any room and feel proud of who you are without needing a drink to soften the edges. Inside Feel Good AF, you're going to get deep support, either one-on-one or group, and daily touch points that keep you anchored. You get emotional safety so that you can finally exhale and stop white-knuckling it. Nobody wants to do that. Real-time coaching from someone who's been where you are and knows the way out. If you've been in my world for a while, you already know how strongly I believe this isn't just about removing alcohol. This is about becoming the version of you've always known you could be. The one who wakes up every morning feeling her best and feeling proud of what she did the day before. So if this episode is speaking to you, if your heart's beating a little faster right now, then don't wait. You can DM me, you can email me, you can click on the link in the show notes to see how this work fits in your life. Whatever your bold AF move looks like, this is your sign to make it. And I will be right here cheering you on every single step of the way. The women who hire me, they're just like you. They have felt and thought all of the same things as you. I have their back just like I'll have yours. Okay, let's move on to how you can take this journey to the next phase. I'm going to drop you a 3-step foundation that's going to make your bold AF move sustainable. So let's say you make your first bold AF move today. And I mean, you can figure out what AF means. Amazing. You just shifted the pattern. Now, the question is, how do you keep that momentum alive? Okay, that's where this little 3-step foundation from my free guide comes in, which is linked in the show notes. You can grab it. These aren't rigid rules. They're emotional sobriety tools. The real work that helps you stop thinking about drinking and start living in alignment instead. So let's walk through them really quick. The first one is one bold move at a time. Because remember, this isn't about forever. It's about today. If forever feels too big, zoom in. One dinner, one bedtime routine, one Tuesday night. That's how this version of you is built. One micro proof point at a time. You don't need more willpower. You need more wins. You've got to start stacking these wins. And when you stack those small wins, that's what builds self-trust. Okay. This is probably my favorite one. Self-talk overhaul. Let's be honest. Your inner voice can be brutal. The what's wrong with you? The why can't you just stop? The shame, the self-abandonment, the mental beatdowns every morning after drinking. Cut it out. Here's what I teach instead. You don't shame yourself into change. You speak yourself into it. We practice interrupting the spiral with powerful inner dialogue that sounds something a little bit more like, I'm already doing this. This is just what change feels like. My discomfort isn't a red flag. It's a sign that I'm showing up for myself. Okay, you change your words, you change your identity. And that's exactly what we work on inside Feel Good AF. All right, last but not least, educate yourself with the right voices. You can't become the woman that you want to be surrounded by messaging that reinforces the woman you don't want to be anymore. Quit lit, podcasts, just like this one. Real stories from women who've been where you are, not because you need more information. Let me be very clear, but because hearing those stories shows your nervous system, this is possible for me too. So if you haven't downloaded the free guide yet, go ahead and do it. It includes some of the resources that I swear by, things that cracked something open in me when I was exactly where you are right now. And let me leave you with this. You are not someone who's trying to quit. You're a woman who's no longer willing to abandon herself. That's how you live in an identity that you want to have. Your bold AF move isn't about forever. It's about today. It's one small act of radical self-loyalty. And deep down, you already know what it is. Okay, so here's what you're going to do next. If this episode lit something up inside you, go ahead and DM me or send me an email. Let's talk about how we can walk this journey together inside Feel Good AF. It's the space where women just like you go from being stuck and spiraling to steady, confident, and finally free. No more abandoning yourself. This is your time. You're not doing this alone, and I've got your back the whole way through. Okay, that's it for me this week. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you loved this episode, please, please, please rate it and share it. It helps other women who need support find it. And subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. I will see you next time, and I believe in you.